1. The black ship's sails caught the wind. It moved with purpose. The ocean welcomed its passage. The horizon stretched wide and endless. The crew knew their path would not be easy, but they also knew it was theirs to walk. Captain Lirian stood at the helm. His grip was firm. His gaze was steady. The past could not be changed, but the future was a canvas waiting for its first stroke. The black ship sailed on. Justice had taken the helm. The days turned to weeks. As the black ship continued its voyage, the crew's bond deepened with each passing day. They spoke of their trials. They shared their truths. Their laughter returned in quiet moments. Their burdens grew lighter. The ship's dark sails were no longer a symbol of fear. They were a banner of resilience, a beacon for those lost in the seas of their own guilt. Word of the black ship spread across the oceans. Some feared it still. Others sought it out. They came with their own sins, their own hopes for redemption. The crew welcomed them. Each new arrival faced the fire. Each emerged changed. The ship became more than a vessel. It became a sanctuary, a place where broken souls could find their strength, a place where justice was not an end, but a beginning. One fateful evening, the ship approached a harbor. A city lay beyond it, a city that once knew the wrath of the black ship. Lirian's heart clenched as memories surged forth. The crew's resolve was tested anew. The people of the city lined the docks. Their faces were wary, their voices were silent. Lirian stepped ashore. His steps were measured, his gaze unwavering. He stood before the crowd. "I am Captain Lirian of the black ship. I have come to answer for the past." The silence was deafening. Then a voice rang out. It was not anger. It was not forgiveness. It was a question. "Why have you returned?" Lirian's voice carried over the crowd. "To offer what was taken, to seek what was lost, to make amends if you will let me." The crowd murmured. Some faces softened, others remained hard. A child stepped forward. Her eyes were wide. Her voice was small. "Can you bring back my brother?" Lirian knelt before her. His voice was heavy. "No, but I can honor his memory. I can ensure his story is never forgotten." The child nodded. Her hand reached out. Lirian took it. The city's gates opened. The black ship's crew entered. They worked side by side with the townsfolk. They rebuilt what was broken. They planted seeds where the earth had been scorched. They shared their stories. They listened to others. Slowly, the scars began to heal. Trust grew where there was none. The black ship became a symbol of hope. It carried the weight of its past, but it also carried the promise of change. Years passed. The black ship's sails faded from black to gray. Its crew grew older. Some stayed, others found new paths. Lirian remained at the helm. His hair turned silver. His eyes held the wisdom of countless journeys. The ship's purpose endured. It continued to sail. It continued to seek. Justice had taken the helm, and it guided them toward a horizon that was always just out of reach. But that was where hope lived, and so the black ship sailed on. 1. The black ship sailed under a blood-red sky. The ocean seemed restless. Waves crashed against the hull with relentless fury. Captain Lirian stood at the helm. His face bore the weight of countless battles. The crew moved in silence. Their eyes flickered with unease. Justice was on the horizon. It was not the kind they had sought. It was the kind that found you, the kind that demanded a price. E-ship's black sails billowed like dark wings. They carried the vessel toward an uncharted isle. This place was whispered of in legends, a sanctuary for those who sought atonement, or so the tales claimed. The wind howled like a warning. The crew's resolve was tested with every passing moment. Lirian's voice rang out above the chaos. Steady the mainsail. Hold the course. The crew obeyed without question. Their faith in their captain was unshaken, yet doubt lingered in their hearts. The black ship was not a vessel of mercy. It was a harbinger of judgment. The island came into view. Its silhouette loomed against the crimson sky. Jagged cliffs rose like jagged teeth. A dense forest concealed its secrets. Lirian's gaze was fixed on the shore. His mind raced with memories, choices made in shadow, deeds done for survival. They all led to this moment. The ship's anchor dropped with a heavy splash. Silence followed. Even the waves seemed to pause. The crew's steps echoed as they descended to the shore. The air was thick. Each breath carried the weight of unseen eyes. They were met by a figure clad in gray robes, a woman whose face was shrouded by a hood. Her voice was neither warm nor cold. It was a tone that demanded truth. "Welcome to the Isle of Reckoning." Her words carried the gravity of the earth itself. "You have come seeking justice. But justice is not given. It is forged." Lirian stepped forward. His boots sank into the sand. "We are here to answer." The woman's gaze seemed to pierce him. Then, let the forge begin. They were led through a winding path. The forest whispered as they passed. Shadows danced between the trees. The crew's hands hovered near their weapons. Yet no danger revealed itself. They emerged into a clearing. A stone circle stood at its center. Flames licked at its edges. This is where the truth is shaped. The woman's words hung in the air. "Each of you will face your deeds. The fire will judge your soul." Some of the crew exchanged uneasy glances. Lirian's jaw tightened. He stepped into the circle. The flames roared to life. The fire spoke without words. It showed images that burned into the air. Villages in ruins. Lives extinguished by greed and desperation. Lirian saw his past laid bare. Each decision etched into his soul. His hands trembled, but he did not flinch. The woman watched in silence. The crew looked on with bated breath. The flames subsided. Lirian emerged from the circle. His face was pale. His eyes burned with something unspoken. The woman nodded. "You have faced your truth. The fire accepts your resolve. But justice does not end here." One by one, the crew stepped forward. The circle revealed their truths. Sins hidden beneath bravado. Regrets buried beneath. Pride. Some crumbled under the weight. Others stood taller for having faced it. The fire judged without malice. Its verdict was not always mercy. The crew emerged changed. Some carried marks of their judgment, scars that would never fade. Others bore nothing but the memory, yet none left untouched. The woman raised her hands. The circle dimmed. The flames receded. "You have faced the forge. Justice is not about punishment. It is about understanding. You have been tempered. Now you must wield what you have become." The crew's eyes met hers. They held no defiance, only the resolve of those who had faced themselves. The black ship's journey was far from over, but its purpose had shifted. The crew returned to the vessel. Their steps were heavier, yet their hearts were lighter. Justice had taken shape. It was not a thing to be feared. It was a thing to be embraced.